Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm going over some general statistics on the games played and checked out, as well as what I played at Level Up Retreat 2025. There'll be timestamps to everything down below, but the sections I'm going to go over are the statistics, the 30 most checked out games, and then the 22 unique games that I played at Level Up Retreat. Let's start with the first one, the statistics. We had a little over 400 people, well, 400 tickets sold. We had 450 once you count special guests and staff and tickets and all that. We had around 450 attendees at Level Up Retreat 2025. From those, we had 276 unique games checked out. Our library is around 1,050 games, if I'm not mistaken. We have around 1,050 games right now. 276 of those were checked out, which also means that 750 weren't, which is always the struggle of balancing a library, because every year, different games get checked out, and every year there's some games that got checked out once, some games that aren't, and so figuring out when you need to start culling and when you need to focus on, again, like some things are easily predictable. The games that get 15 checkouts, those are easily predictable. The ones that only get one checkout a year, when is it worth having those or not? That's always complicated. It's something we're going to figure out and adjust as the years go on. But 276 unique games were checked out, but there were 688 game checkouts. So 276 unique games checked out with 688 separate checkouts logged. Sorry for saying that poorly over there. That's in addition, of course, to the hot games. We had around 15 tables set up on a regular rotation of hot games, and they were mostly active nearly the entire convention. Like, there were one or two times where I was like subbing games in whenever they got emptied, but basically they were mostly active the entire time, and that's of course in addition to all the other games people bring individually from home as well. From those 276 unique games, we're going to go over the 30 most checked out, starting off at the bottom of the list. Safa from Rio Grande Games, if I'm not mistaken, had 6 checkouts. We had 1960, The Making of the President. We had a single copy of that in the library. It got 6 checkouts as well. I was surprised by that. We had Skyrise, got 6 checkouts, although it also was one of the regularly set up hot games, so it got a lot of activity there. I think I'll mention when something was a hot game, although I don't have the stats on how often it was played when it was a hot game. We had Pack the Essentials from Wacky Wizard Games, got 6 checkouts. We had Cities from Devere, got 6 checkouts. We had Portmanteau, a cooperative game of linguistic fusion, with 6 checkouts. We had the Lord of the Rings: The Duel for Middle Earth. That's the two-player Lord of the Rings, 2-player Seven Wonders duel adjustment to the Lord of the Rings. That's the version of that. Although again, that was set up as a hot game as well, so it got a lot of activity there, but with 6 checkouts. We had Battle Line Medieval getting 6 checkouts as well. And again, Battle Line 1960, both of those surprised me. Some of these surprised me, some less so. We had the Night Cage from Smirk and Dagger with 6 checkouts. We had Ezra and Nehemiah for 6 checkouts, although again, that was also a hot game regularly set up. We had Slay the Spire the board game with 6 checkouts, and again, that was also a hot game as well. So doing the hot game, you only had 1 copy, I believe, and that was cycling between being a hot game and then getting checked out when it wasn't. We had Let's Go to Japan with 6 checkouts. We had Skyrise with 7 checkouts, which I'm realizing now we have 2 different versions of the game. We had a regular version and we had the regular version and the premium version with different scanning codes, which is why it got different checkouts over there. But we had 7 checkouts and then 6 checkouts, so I guess 13 checkouts plus being a hot game. We had the Mandalorian Adventures with 7 checkouts. We had Evacuation with 7 checkouts. Lacuna with 8 checkouts. Isle of Trains All Aboard with 8 checkouts. Bloodstones with 9 checkouts. That was also rotating as a hot game. We had Primal the Awakening with 9 checkouts, which really impressed me considering how big this game is, and this was also a hot game as well that was set up at points, but was getting a lot of checkout activity as well. We had Andromeda's Edge with 10 checkouts, again, also a hot game. Life of the Amazonia with 10 checkouts. We had Botany with 11 checkouts, and again, also set up as a hot game. Duck and Cover with 13 checkouts, that one definitely surprised me. Explorers of Nevoria with 14 checkouts, and also a hot game as well. The Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game was technically not a hot game, although it probably should have been, but that got 17 checkouts from the library. And then we have Harmonies with 27 checkouts as well. So Harmonies with 27 checkouts, that got the most single amounts of checkouts from everything. And so those are the 30 most checked out games from the Level Up Retreat. And then from there, as far as the games I played, I have these on a general note over here, but I had 22 unique games that I played with a roughly, I didn't count them up yet, but roughly 40 plays altogether. Some of them got like 6 plays and some got only 1 play. Most got only 1 play, a few got multiple plays. But I'm going to go through them in no particular order, just the order that I wrote them down on. We had a game that I don't even know the name for this. It's something called like something Stop Bach or whatever. It's a little party game of stacking various cutlery. We had Crokinole, got a bunch of plays in it this year as well, although not as many as last year. Last year I did the full tournament of it. This year I just got a bunch of plays set up at the table. We have Rurik. I got in a single play of Rurik, which is nice because it reminded me just how much I enjoy Rurik. We had Coup with multiple plays as well. This was set up as a party game doing the Mixer event, and I haven't played it in like 6 years, but it's one of those games that I played it enough, it's easy to dive in, no rules needed, although we had several moments when people did not necessarily know the rules as we were going through it. We had Rebel Princess. I played Rebel Princess as well as Coimbra. Coimbra got into play as one of the last games I played, possibly the last game I played. No, that stacking plate game was the last game I played. We have Federation. I got another play of Federation in. I'm still playing through it some more, but you can expect a review on that soon. Federation I like it a lot with caveats. Full review coming when I get a few more plays in. We have Black Forest. Really enjoyed that. I went out and bought a copy of it after because I had a lot of fun playing it. Black Forest is a version of Glass Road that is different and better in some ways, worse in other ways, and I think there's room for both in my collection. We have Link City. This is easily one of the hits for me. Honestly, Black Forest and Link City were the two games that I went out and bought a copy after the con because of playing them. I got a bunch of plays of Link City in. It's stupid, silly fun, very much in the vein of games like Codenames and So Clover and all of that, but I just had a lot of fun with it. You're basically just trying to create a city and trying to play out how each other thinks as you would build the city. Thoroughly enjoyable. Don't know if it has staying power yet, but had a lot of fun with it. Lord of the Rings trick-taking game. Got a bunch of plays of this, going through several adventures, losing some, winning others. Got a lot of plays there. I hope to be continuing to play through that. Once I finish it, I'll have a review for you, but it's just a fun game. It's Lord of the Rings. It's basically just trick-taking game. It's interesting because, well, I have thoughts. We'll come to the thoughts later. We have Sell the Square, I think it was called. Sell the Square. This is a Japanese game, if I'm not mistaken, brought to us by Cardboard East, brought to the convention, so Jay from Cardboard East, and I was intrigued by it. Didn't love it, but I was intrigued by it. We have Scales of Fate from IV Games. I'll have a full review on that as well at some point soon. That's the two-player version of Veiled Fate. I think I like it more than Veiled Fate, but we'll get into more as far as the reasons of the review. I'm not in love with it. It still has things I like and things I don't like, which we'll get to, but I think I like it more than Veiled Fate for a particular reason. Although it's complicated. We'll come to this in the review. Everdell Spirecrest. I brought Everdell Spirecrest to the convention, the prototype I had. That was one of the hot games that was set up the entire time, by the way. It was never in the library, didn't have anything to check out. It was just set up as a hot game and got nearly constant table time from people who wanted to play it. But I got to play it as well and show it to a few people. Still enjoy it. Finspan. I got multiple plays of Finspan, managed to teach it to a bunch of people who wanted to learn it. So Finspan it's just enjoyable. It's not a game that I'm gonna like rave for, but it's a game that I'm happy it's not in my collection, but it's in the general collection rotation over here, and that's good because it's a fun game. It's a fun, easy game to play. We have Rococo. I got to table Rococo, which I want a few more plays of it, but I hope to have a review for you at some point. I definitely enjoyed it with some hesitation and caveats, but we'll get to that in the review. We have Radlands. I got to play the Radlands with somebody, just teaching to them, and I like Radlands a lot, so it's always fun to go through. We have So Clover. Continue to get plays of So Clover, and continuously one of my favorite party games, if not my favorite party game. Dominion. Managed to table Dominion, which it's been like I was teaching somebody else in our game group Dominion, just because I want to get it in the rotation more often, and so I selfishly just grabbed off the shelf to teach it to a friend who came to the retreat with me. We have what's the game called? It's called Alibi. Got to play Alibi from All Play. Enjoyed that. I've already played that one before. I actually brought my prototype to the convention. It's a pre-production copy, but I really enjoyed it. We have The Strange Forgeries of Dr. E.Z. Schreiber. I will have a review for you on this at some point. I need to get more plays of it, but I definitely enjoy it. I don't yet know if it's a keeper for me, and I'll get more into that in the review, but I definitely had a lot of fun playing through it. We have Verdant. I haven't played Verdant in like at least a year. Got to table that one and teach a few people. And then lastly, the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. That was actually, I believe, the very first game I played at this retreat. Anyways, that is basically your little level up recap of the library checkout statistics, the most checked out games, as well as, what's the word I'm looking for, as well as the games I personally played. If you weren't there, we missed you. Hopefully you'll come sometime in the future. If you were there, thanks so much for coming. And other than that, I'm Alex Ratcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.